Okay, what I'm doing is actually reading the volume without looking at price bars. And I do that just to practice my volume skills actually. So here I know that I've had divergence because we made a high here followed by another high, and the second high was actually plotted below zero, so that tells me I have divergence. On the next bar, price pulled back, made a low, made a second low, and that was divergence on that low. So I would have anticipated price going up. We then made a high. Now I can't read anything off that high because I don't know if it's higher than this bar. We then make a low. It's a secondary divergence on that low if it is lower than this low. We then made another high. And again, I can't tell if there's divergence because I don't have two highs there. We then made another low, followed by a high, followed by a low. If this low was lower than this low, I would have had divergence. We then made another high here, and I would need to look at the price bar to see if it was higher than this price bar here. If so, we would have had divergence. On the next bar, we do get divergence because it is another high. In this case, I would expect it to pull back. It did. Then we had divergence here. Another potential divergence here. We made another high, followed by two additional highs. On this one, we had divergence. I'm watching these here as they're building. Right now, it looks like we're going to get a higher high in price. Back to what I've already done. We made a low here. Now, if this low was compared to this one, if it was lower, we could potentially have divergence. We then made another high. I would need to look at price to see if it was higher than this bar. If so, we would have divergence. We then make another low, followed by a high that is totally controlled by the sellers. We then get a low here that is controlled by buyers. Now we made a high and potentially a new high here. Since it's actually equal to, it would not be divergence. Now, during this phase, I would say that we're in a pullback. Potentially they're trying to actually take price down, but they don't look like they're very successful at it at the moment. Okay, we did make another high there, and there is no divergence on it. So I'm going to mark it as a high. Now, if these highs here are higher than this high here or this one, we would have a very strong divergence. That we don't know unless we look at the price bars. In this exercise, I am using the ES, which is one of the markets I do not like to trade. It is a 3-minute chart, but I'm trying to just practice the volume, so it doesn't matter whether I actually like the market or not, as long as I can practice the volume on it. Right now we're getting an inside bar. If this price bar goes higher than these two price bars, then it will turn blue, and I know that we're making a new high when compared to this bar and this bar. It finished as an inside bar, so it did not take out the high of the previous bar. Looking at volume without the price bars, I would say that more than likely these bars right here went back to test the high that was made here. And that actually, if you're looking just at buyers, that would have given you divergence. Now, if this price bar goes lower, it will turn red. It has not done so yet. Okay, now they're making a higher high. And I would say that this high was higher than both of these bars. Now it's forming an inside bar. If I were looking at price bars, I would be comparing this high to this high, and I'm going to mark those in light blue so that when I look at price bars I can see whether they were high or highs. If this price bar was higher than this price bar, you just had divergence and you would expect a test for sellers. It remained an inside bar. I would be still looking to see if we had a low, because I think we've had divergence on highs there. still an inside bar. So we can't tell anything other than we've had 4 inside bars. So you get a little bit of congestion in that area. So far we have had 1, 2, 3, 4 inside bars. Now we're making a low. And that low is being controlled by sellers. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the marker there to let me know that it is a low. I may have to move that marker depending on how the bar finishes. Okay, it did finish below the 0, so I know sellers controlled that bar. We are now forming an inside bar. So the only thing I would know is we made a low followed by an inside bar. Now it's making a high because it just turned blue. We'll go ahead and mark that as a high as it stands right now. Okay, finished out as a high. I would not know if this price bar was higher than this one. If it's higher than this one, then you've got potential divergence. But there's no way to know that. Okay, we have another inside bar. Now we're making a new high. Buyers really stepping into the market. I would say we're making higher highs. Definitely confirmed on the buyer side if we are. I would probably say that this congestion zone came to probably about here. And I would say this is probably a higher low than this one is. Just looking at the volume bars, that's the way I would picture the price bars right now. I think sellers tried to step in here, but they were not very successful in it, which is why we're now making higher highs. This is just an inside bar right now. Now we're making a higher high. You got a potential divergence on that high because it was higher than the previous bar, but the volume was lower. It's not confirmed yet. We're getting an inside bar right now. If this is maintained, I would expect a test for sellers. I would expect a test for sellers now. I'm going to remove that and put D on it for divergence. And I would expect a test for sellers right now. Okay, this bar was higher than the inside bar. I would have to look at the price bars to see if it was higher than this bar. It was controlled by the sellers though. Based on what I'm seeing on the volume, I would still anticipate a test for sellers. And that was just an inside bar that was controlled by buyers. I'm still expecting a test for sellers right now. Here comes the test for sellers. Okay, so we did make a low. I would prefer to have two low volume bars so I could read the volume there. Otherwise you have to read it as trend following volume. And each of the lows has been decreasing in volume, including this one. But you would have to make sure that these were higher lows. So if you're using trend following volume, you would actually have to see the price bars on these lows to make sure they were in fact either equal or higher lows. Okay, now we're increasing on the lows. The current bar is also a low. We'll watch this one as it's developing. we made a lower low and the selling volume was increasing. We should get another low actually. We're getting a new low here. Potential divergence. If we do get divergence, price should go up, but we have to wait until the close of the bar. If the volume is greater than this bar, there will be no divergence. Okay, there's your potential divergence. If this holds, price will go up. Since we are definitively in a downtrend, I would probably go ahead and mark this one divergence. I would be anticipating price to go up. As it stands right now, this is confirming the divergence. Have to wait till the end of the bar to see if it holds. Right now the current bar is an inside bar, that's why you have a white volume bar. I would expect price to go up. That divergence was just confirmed. Let's see if price goes up now. That was just an inside bar, controlled by the buyers. Now we're getting the high. see what the volume does. Okay, we did get the high here. So we're going to mark that with a high, and then we're going to look at price bars and see how well we did. So let's kind of shrink it down some. So this was our high, this was our divergence, and we pull back, and this is where I think we're in congestion. Then we start making new highs here. They're not higher than the other highs though. And we get another divergence here. Then we test for sellers again. We come back and test again here, and this is what we couldn't see in the volume indicator because we needed to see that there was a test there. And they came back, tested it on lower volume. Then they made a higher low right here, and this is where buyers started to come back in. Between here and here, we still have divergence. They come back and test for sellers again here. When they test for sellers, there's no sellers in the market, so it goes up again. This is where we said that more than likely we're going to test for sellers. So the high of that bar was 1766.75. The high actually ended up being 1767, so we were about one tick off the high there. And then they test for sellers. There's divergence on the sellers, and it starts to go back up. Now, I would be watching right now because we are making a higher high, but the volume is not coming in as it should. So we would want to see this volume bar exceed this volume bar. So we actually said that they would test for sellers here. It went up one tick and then tested for sellers. Then we said that actually on this bar, that we should go back up, and that's exactly what we're doing. So it's gone from 1765.75 up to 1766.75 right now. You are getting a slight divergence here. It hasn't been confirmed yet. It's a really good way to actually test your volume reading skills is to do an exercise like this. If this comes up as confirming that divergence, it'll go back down and test for sellers again. You can see between the blue lines where I said that I would check to see if we had divergence there. We did, and this is the volume bar that said it would go up again. I want to wait until this bar finishes because I think we're going to have another pullback. The other thing I want to do is actually add the new trend and see how well it picked it up. Okay, you can see right here you were in the congestion zone. Okay, you had divergence right off the bottom of the congestion zone. You had it here. You had another seller's bar that was controlled by the buyers here. That's where they came back to test this low over here. Again, here you're at the ATR. Again, you see that you've had divergence. And again, over here, you can see that you were at the ATR. And that's really why it made a difference in the volume, and what caused it to bounce up is because it had formed an area of support for price to go up. I would still think that it would come back and test this ATR again, only because of what the volume is telling me right now. You've made higher highs, and it's diverging volume, so you would at least expect them to come back and test this ATR again. even though the market was very slow this morning, it really shows the power of the trend, the new trend, ATR in the congestion area when it is combined with the volume indicator. And it is amazing how well you can actually predict where price is going just using these two indicators. Again, it's coming back to test the ATR. If the sellers increase here, they'll flip the ATR. And that's what I would almost anticipate them doing, because you've now made the lower high here. This is typically an area where they're going to increase in volume and flip the ATR. I would be comparing these two volume bars. There was a slight increase there. Normally they come back a lot stronger than that. So a very, very good exercise when you're trying to learn volume. The only one you could actually do this on that I know of is our volume indicator, because we do code the price bars into the volume indicator.